and welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here tonight with session number 18 of our ongoing D&D 5th edition campaign titled Evermore le Masquerade. Tonight's episode is titled By a Thread. This campaign, this game, takes place in a homebrew world of mine known as Rosfine, same as a couple of other campaigns that you can find here on the channel, Beneath the Banner Shadow, On the Rise, and Ashes of Heaven. But this is in a kingdom known as Gerdes, which is based heavily on the Baroque periods of Spain, France, and Venice, with a little bit of the Dragon Age Orlais setting kind of sprinkled in there. But this has been an incredible journey so far, and I've been really, really happy with the places that we've been able to take our story and these characters, and I think tonight is going to be no exception. This might be a big turning point in the campaign again. So I'm really eager to see how the events of tonight are going to play out. But before we do that, there's a couple of points of business that I want to touch on. The first is, if foul language and immature humor and mature dark subject matter are problems for you, then this is not a game for you to watch. Especially this campaign. We will not ever show or touch on illicit sex, but it's going to skirt pretty close because it is a big part of this culture that they find themselves in. So, you have been warned. Take your prudishness elsewhere. But if you're a freak, then stick around, because we've got some D&D for you. Speaking of freaks, I'm going to pass things over to my fellow freaks here, my players, so that they can introduce themselves, tell you where you may be able to find them on the internet, what they have going on, etc., and then we're going to get this started. So we're going to start first with Kenya.
It's me. Someday he's going to mix it up on me, and I'm not going to know what to do with myself. Hi, everybody. Kenya. Tonight I am playing Vera, who is the madam of the local high-class fancy pants brothel in the city. She is apparently getting a lot of text messages. I apologize for the outside noise. I thought I muted my phone. She is currently standing in a room with a spirit thing that's getting ready to attack and probably kidnap a very innocent pregnant woman, and I am terrified as to where this is going to go. So yeah, that's kind of all I've got. I'm just going to kind of slide it right down to Matt. Matt, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt. I run a channel called The Fistful of Dice, and I make RPG books over at Absolute Tabletop. And tonight I am playing, as always, Loxley LaCroix, who is once again finding himself way in over his head. So, and I am going to toss it over to Em.
Hi, everyone. I'm Em. I'm playing Sylvie, and yeah, this is we're in danger moment, and I'm here for it, and I'm ready to get into it. So yeah, I'll pass it on to Austin.
I am Austin. I will be playing Guillaume, the wizard, and I don't have any internet presence, so to speak of, and I'm just eager to get playing, so I will keep it short and sweet, like me. And I'll pass it off to Karen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen, also known as Myth and Gears. I don't know what everybody's all worried about. I mean, we're fine. It's going to be fine. Nothing's wrong. We're going to have a party, right? Tonight, I get to play Cameron Diego Ruiz y Gonzala, also known as Solana de Calgones, also known as Isabella Anscari. So take your pick.
AKA. Yeah. The great thing is that we haven't had a lot of combat in this campaign. It's happened a couple of times. And every time that it has happened, it has been both very impactful, and also really, really fucking dangerous. So I'm very eager to get back to it and see how things are going to go. So, without further ado, if y'all are ready, then I think we can get started. Yeah, all right, let's do it. Those unfamiliar with our Gerdessi ways tend to mistrust those who choose to cover their face. Many believe that only a deceitful person has a reason to wear a mask. But each of us, Gerdessi or no, wears the mask that prevents us from seeing the fullness of our own reflection. Because the things we need to hide the most are the parts of ourselves that we are not yet ready to accept as truth. It is in the shadows of those masks that we shroud our shame. And it is in our attachment to these shadows that the darkest deeds are often born. You have traveled to see Escanada de la Apozuelo at the Via de Apozuelo, which lies on the western shore of Lago Dar. It is a sprawling and storied estate owned by a man named Mercuzio de la Apozuelo. And he has proven to be a stern, cold, pragmatic, and severe man. His wife seems to be feeling ill and was not able to come to meet you face to face. The husband has apologized in his own manner. But while this discussion has been taking place in the study, I believe Sylvie and Chimeran are in the study. Lox, I believe, is standing just outside the study, where, until moments ago, Vera was with him. The only attendant who happened to be keeping an eye on any of you had taken Guillaume to go use the restroom out by the horse house. And Guillaume chose to make a few bathroom calls, touching base with the lady of the house. However, mid-response to his magic message, she was cut off. He relayed this to Vera, who then frantically began looking around the house, found a room that was locked, that had the sounds of struggle coming from behind it. She just cast the shatter spell, which shattered the lock around the door, and pushed the door open into the chamber of Escanada de la Apozuelo, to find her dangling 8 feet above the floor, by the ceiling, where a shadow is holding her aloft. She is attempting to fight against this thing, but you can see that it is a losing battle. It's only a matter of time before this thing does whatever it is that it intends to do with her. So, what I would like is for everyone to please roll me initiative.
What is
Let's
this
do it.
roll dice thing?
In initiative?
Heart is like racing. I'm so nervous for her, and I rolled like 8.
All right. Looks like Sylvie also got an 8. So Sylvie and Vera, would you both please roll a d6 for me? Oh, as well as Chimeran. Everybody's stacking up.
Chimaran got a 15.
On a D6? Damn.
No. Initiative. Chimaran got a 15.
Oh. What is the... Oh, never mind.
I love how Jeremy was like 15 on a D6. Damn, but like didn't like say that's impossible. He was just like very impressed.
Listen, I
Okay,
trust my
let's see.
players. If they say they rolled it, they rolled it.
Seems a little fishy, but okay, yeah. If you say it's 15, I guess it
alright.
is.
I guess. You know, make a little note next to Karen's name. All right.
Ask
let's
her
see.
where she gets her D6s.
Fantastic. Y'all throwing random ass numbers in there now? Just being assholes. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? Cameron, you said you got a 15?
Yeah, there's only 5 of us.
You're not the only one who has initiatives, but yes.
I was
Okay.
hoping.
Let's see. Locks, I also need a d6 from you, please.
Okay, 73.
Fucking spectacular.
Oh my god. That is 5.
5, okay. Okay, so first things first. We've laid the scene out. Vera, that's what you are confronted with. As of right now, none of the rest of the group has any idea what exactly is going on. Guillaume is the only other one that really knows that something is amiss.
Well, the shatter spell is really loud, I think.
Oh, great point. Does it say anything about like how loud? I mean, I imagine it's loud, but
1 second, is it? A
Just see
sudden
if the
loud
people from
ringing
the
noise
study-
painfully erupts.
okay. I mean, it
No, it
specifically
doesn't
calls it
say.
a loud noise.
It doesn't
so...
say like 300 feet or anything like some of the other
Okay.
ones do.
Yeah, but it literally labels it as a loud noise, so I'm perfectly fine, especially being indoors, to say that even those in the study have heard the crashing noise, the explosion of the lock in the wood. So we're gonna go with that. The guards in the house are starting to respond, but it's gonna take them a little while to get there. So first up is going to be Chimaran. Chimaran, what I want you to do before you take your turn, if you would please, is roll me a d4 plus 1.
5.
5. Okay. Those of you in the study are 150 feet away from her bedroom. So it's going to take you some time to get there. Okay? But it is your turn, so if you would please.
So I think hearing the loud crash coming from somewhere outside this room and probably upstairs-ish, Chimaran's first reaction is to unsheath his rapier of glass, because that's fun. It's this stained glass looking rapier, and then head towards the door of the study to open it and see what's going on.
Yeah, I think immediately Mercuzio is up on his feet, drawing his sword as well. What was that? What is the meaning of this? Kind of looking at Chimaran, drawing his weapon and then rushing from the room after this sound has happened. He's looking at you, Sylvie, being the only other person in the room at the moment with him.
Sylvie just shrugs. I don't know, it is your house. Do you not know the sounds that come from it?
He kind of starts to move around the table towards the door himself. Lox, it is your turn.
I think I'm just going to spend my entire turn moving as far as I can toward the bedroom. I assume that I heard the shatter spell go off, so I'm going to run in that direction. I don't have any way of going faster than normal, so I guess that'll just be double my normal speed, which is 30
Okay.
feet. So I will move 60 feet toward the bedroom.
All right, so Lox, you're still 90 feet out. Chimeran,
Yeah.
You're a rogue,
And
right,
I'll
Chimeran?
I am. No. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I had to check character.
So how far
Yes,
did you move
yes, I
on your
am.
turn?
If it doesn't take any action to pull out my rapier, if I'm doing that while I'm moving, then I would
No.
double move, so 60 feet.
Do you also have cunning action?
I do. Let me just see. Wow, it's
Yeah.
been a long time since we've had to check stuff on our character sheets.
Been a minute since you rogued.
Bonus action. Yeah, so I can use my bonus action to dash. So I could go 90.
So you're going to move 90?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, Chimeran, you take off, passing Lox, standing outside
catching up.
Right.
Running like Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie.
And both of you are off at a pace, moving through the hallways of this villa towards the room. Was there something you wanted to add, Matt? It sounded like you were still going.
I will summon my rapier as well while I'm
perfect.
running, so I have it
Hell
in
yeah.
hand.
What does it look like again whenever you summon your sword? Is it like you draw nothing and it appears, or?
Yeah, so it just the way he does it is he sort of just does this gesture in the air, and it's this very dancerly sort of swordsman gesture. And as he does so, there's kind of the this sort of outline of a sword that sort of appears in the air, made of light. And as he clenches his fist, it sort of appears in this snap of purple light. And for a second, it's just light, just pure purple light. And then as he closes his fist around it, it sort of snaps into existence. Just happens in an instant. It's sort of just second nature for him to do it.
There's a faint cry of peacocks in the background.
Yeah, just yeah.
Sound of a whip cracking. That was perfect. Okay.
And just someone whispering, Loxley.
LaCroix.
LaCroix.
Perfection. All right, so we now have two armed swordsmen running down the hallway towards where they were hearing these sounds. In the bedroom, Vera, you see this shadow. While there is a thread, is probably the best way to think of it, kind of a thick tendril or thread that is hanging from the majority of this deep shadow that unnaturally is clinging to the ceiling. And on the other end, it is wrapped around, kind of somewhat enveloping Escanada. But as she struggles, you watch as something reaches out of this shadow. Lots of something reaches out of this shadow, as half a dozen or more long, pale, taloned hands reach out of the pure blackness, just manifesting from this shadow, clutching to everything they can of her body and her garments, and dragging and pulling her into the deeper part of this darkness. All right. She lets out this moan of agony as you watch the color from her skin drain. This kind of, she takes on this pallor, and you can see, like, like whenever, well, especially being a madam, sometimes, a single touch can make a person kind of relax, kind of melt a little. It kind of does that. Like, her body doesn't tense, it relaxes as this pallor kind of takes on her appearance. She is still fighting and still kicking, though. It pulls her a foot or two closer to the ceiling, and covers another portion of her body in darkness. Guillaume, it is your turn.
Was the bathroom closer to or further away from the direction
Let's
that
find
Vera
out.
ran and the noise came?
I need you to roll a d4 -1, so it's probably closer.
That's a 2.
A 2. So you are 60 feet away.
Okay, then I'm gonna dash my ass over there. I don't think I have any way to speed myself.
Okay.
Oh, nope, no, nothing good. Yeah, I'm just gonna dash over there.
Okay.
I'll just
so
like
you
rust
arrive
out
in
of
the
the
doorway.
bathroom, right past
Mhm.
the attendant, like don't not even
Sir!
giving him time to react.
Sir!
Like, yes, lovely facilities, and then just keep running.
So yeah, you like screech to a halt on like the long runner, the rug that kind of is laid out in the hallway, at the splinters and thrown open door of this bedroom, and you screech to a halt with Vera kind of still in the doorway, somewhat in shock, and you see these hands clutching this woman, holding her close to the ceiling and wrapping her with shadow.
Yeah, Guillaume is just going to he's just like, what the fuck? But he's out of actions.
Okay. Next up is Vera.
Okay. So seeing this and Guillaume kind of running up and hearing that what the fuck, it kind of snaps Vera into action. I would like to can I reach her still even though she's getting pulled up towards the ceiling? Like,
She's 8 feet
how
off
high
the
is-
floor. So
She's
well,
8
she
feet off the
was.
floor.
Yeah, so she's actually a foot or
Okay.
two higher than that now, as it reeled her in a little.
Is there
So-
anything like underneath her? Is there a desk or a table or the bed?
So you could probably get onto a piece of furniture that's near, but you would have to
Okay.
stretch to grab onto her from there. So it would be a
Okay.
little precarious.
Okay. So what Vera's going to do is she's going to dash over, and as she's dashing over, I'm going to bonus action just yell back at Guillaume. Guillaume, you guys have got this. I'll take care of her. And I'm going to throw Bardic Inspiration on him. And then she's going to get up on top of this table or whatever it is. And all I want to do is reach up and grab like just her foot. And she's going to scream, Escanada, I will protect you. Do you trust me? And kind of wait to see what she gets back, like, because we can kind of talk a little bit, and then essentially what I'm trying to do is make contact with her and get her approval. And I want to use the Orion's diamond that Vera always wears around her necklace to teleport the two of us out of the situation and to my sanctuary.
Ooh, very interesting. Okay. So she's kind of, again, she's still fighting, but she's in and out of like true consciousness. Like whatever this thing just did to her took a lot out of her. Her eyes are kind of like heavy lidded and rolling around like in their sockets. So when you ask for her permission, she doesn't really do anything other than kind of nod her head lazily.
Okay. I'm going to take that as she's willing. And
Okay.
Vera is going to cast the Word of Recall spell. It's a one action casting, instantaneous, teleports us to my sanctuary.
Nice. It can take multiple people, right?
It can take up to 6 people,
Okay.
but
Fantastic.
it's got to be willing creatures within 5 feet of me. Oh, I don't even have to touch her. Within 5 feet of me, yeah. So I'm still reaching up for her because it's dramatic, but
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So you reach up one hand, grab a hold of her ankle, reach down and kind of, touch the chain that this, pendant, hangs from or what have you. And you activate this. And there is this glitter, this sparkle as Vera and Escanada disappear, Guillaume, right before your eyes. The tendril that was kind of wrapped around this woman, this partial blanket or shawl of shadow, stays like hollow for a moment before it collapses and corrects itself, kind of folding back in, almost the way that water would if something were to be removed from it suddenly. It kind of collapses back in on itself, and you hear this kind of strange
Guillaume just again goes, "What the fuck?" And then like takes a quick glance back just to see like, is anyone else coming? I'm guessing I can
Sylvie.
see both of them like running towards us.
Yeah, you might be able to, because you might see Chimeran maybe rounding a corner, because Chimeran is still 60 feet out. But Sylvie, it is your turn.
So Sylvie doesn't really know what's going on, so she is going to assume that they might need some more time with whatever they're doing away from the man, the guy. So she is going to try, and she's chasing after him, like walking after him. If you are using this as an excuse to just blow me off, that is a very strange reason, making up these sounds that you hear within the house. I will not stand for this. And she's like kind of like following him down, trying to
And he is continuing this, this verbal repartee with you. You have come to my place, and now there's explosions, and there are people. Where is everyone? He kind of notices that there's like no one around outside the office like they're supposed to be. This problem you have brought to my doorstep it will cost you dearly.
This problem, do you go around blaming all of your service workers that you asked to return their dress, who so very nicely take a very, very slow boat, I will have you know. And I have given up so many hours of my day just to bring this back, and now you have the gall to blame me for these phantom ghost noises that you're hearing within your house. And she is, yeah.
Yeah, he's just shaking his head, trying to walk as fast as he can to get away from you. Very frustrated. Okay. All right. The guards are continuing to close. There are none yet who have reached. Chimeran, you're up.
I'm still 60 feet away, right?
You are still 60 feet away, yes.
Okay, well, we'll use the bonus action to dash and move. And that should get us to where Guillaume is standing, if I'm right.
Yep, right outside the door.
Yeah, and what do I see? I see what you've described, right?
You see a strange shadow that is somewhat in the process of kind of collapsing back against the ceiling, but it's unnatural enough to stand out. And Guillaume is standing there staring at it.
I think I would yell. Do I know? Have I like see the other guard? Like there's a guard around. Do I see that as well as when I'm rushing in, or is it just Guillaume here?
So there might be like another pair of guards that, work for the villa itself at the far end of the hallway, like the opposite direction that you came from. And you can kind of hear their, spurred boots and their pikes kind of rattling in their gauntleted hands as they're kind of running towards you.
Okay. I want to use that as to help with the deception a little bit. I mean, the fact that this is actually still quite shocking to Chimeran is right there, but I want to also play it up that we have no idea, even though we're here. And I would look to Guillaume as I'm standing there, and I would, what happened? Where is she? Where are they? What is that thing?
When the guards come, say the shadow took them. I think they're safe right now. And just kind of like looks back like, I have no idea what that is.
And I want to play up being
But it looks
kind of panicked and stuff, yeah. Even though Guillaume's filled me in.
Okay. Next up is Lox.
Okay. So I want to dash again. So 60 feet, which I think puts me within 30 feet of the room. Yes.
Yeah, 30 feet. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Am I 30 feet from the shadow or 30 feet from like the door of the room?
30 feet from the door.
Okay. Okay. I don't think there's any way I can do what I want to do. I am going to... Yeah, I think that'll be it. I'll just do the dash, and I'm now 30 feet to the door. So I can imagine that I can at least see that there's something going on in the room, but I can't quite tell what at this point. So just still booking it, wondering how Chimeran is so fast. Just zipped by me there.
And considerably slowed down the last section and still beat you there. By
kind
a
of
lot.
like kind of walked the last third of this sprint that we have here and still got there.
Okay. Guillaume. This shadow makes its way along the ceiling. Oh, actually, no. You watch as this shadow shrinks towards the thin kind of spiderwebby type pattern that the light fixture in this room kind of casts on the shadow on the ceiling itself. It melts into that pattern, and then suddenly, from the wall beside you, behind a potted plant on a pedestal, the shadow behind it all of a sudden lunges out at you. What is your AC?
Oh boy. I don't think I mage armored, so I think it's 12.
Ooh. Okay. That's probably going to hit you.
I would
All right.
believe it would.
You're going to take slashing damage to the tune of 9 points.
Is it magical in nature?
It is not.
Rat flesh as the what kind of slashings are these? Is it from the pale hands again,
Yes,
or is
it's
it
from
the shadow
the
itself?
multitude of hands that are reaching out and scratching you.
Yeah, so he's just gonna scream because it still hurts to be slashed,
I imagine.
even if the rat flesh re-knits. And he's going to do what I want to do is a very quick peek to the side. Can I see a guard yet?
No.
Perfect.
Well,
I'm
out
gonna
in the hallway they are, but yeah, you stepped into the room.
Oh, okay. How big is this room?
It's sizable. It's probably 30 by 40. So it's pretty big.
So if I go back into the hall, a guard will be able to see me.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
It's probably rude to throw around fireballs in view of the house staff, but considering the situation, I'm hoping we end up having to kill this guy anyway. I'm gonna just jump fully back into the hallway and just both hands forward. He's like screaming an incoherent word of magic that is just filled with like fear and rage, and it conjure the biggest motherfucking fireball that he can, because it's it's every wizard's dream. And if you get to do it and maybe burn down an asshole's house in the process, all the better. We're definitely getting in a fight with these guards.
So hold on just 1 second, because they have their second attack. So before you jump backwards and fireball on your turn.
Okay.
You said your AC was a 15?
If I had been had enough forethought to do mage armor, it's 12.
Okay. So they hit you with the second one. These hands, as they rake across you with the first, and your flesh is like instantly knitting itself again from the damage. The hands that have raked you, that have drawn blood or what have you, have recoiled back into the darkness, and you can hear like a slurping noise. And the fingers that aren't reaching out to grab you initially, like the knuckles like flare, like they flash their talons, and there's that kind of noise again. And another hand reaches out and grabs a hold of you, or tries to grab a hold of you, but extends a single finger towards you. And when it does, it touches you. You're going to take necrotic damage.
There it is. I knew magic damage was coming. Just hoped the shadow wouldn't figure it out so fast.
14 points of necrotic.
Hey, that's a lot.
And
Oh, don't say and.
you lose 4 points of strength.
Oh God. I was already in the negative modifiers for that.
What is your strength score?
Currently 4.
Weak baby.
You feel your entire body like almost collapse. Like your knees almost go out from underneath of you, as all of a sudden the weight of your body seems almost too much for yourself to hold up. And the world kind of spins a little bit around you for a second. As you stammer back, throw yourself back into the hallway, try to shake this off, and then reach your hands forward to cast Fireball. If that's what you want to still do.
That's 10 times more what I want to do now.
Okay. I thought so.
Now I'm just mad I don't have now I'm just mad I'm not a sorcerer. You can't twin spell Fireball. Never mind.
What is your saving throw DC?
Okay, that one's slightly better. That's 15. Wait,
Okay.
8 plus your proficiency plus your yeah, 15.
Okay. It failed the saving throw, the dex save.
Thank God.
It needed to make. This is at
Oh boy.
just the normal level.
Yeah, I only have 3rd level spells currently.
That's fair. Yeah.
So that's going to be 8d6. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 of them here. So let's see. So
Oh, Kenya says
9.
you can add your inspiration that she gave you to your damage if you want.
Oh, I will do that. So it's 14 becomes 21, and I will use that bardic inspiration. Oh, hell yeah, that's an 8 on there, so that's 29 points of damage from Guillaume's first fireball. And like, as weak as he is, he can't help but let out like a as he sees the like gush of fire fly out of him. It can't help but be exciting.
Yeah, it travels away from your hands and hits the point of origin. You know, the place where you kind of determined that it was going to detonate. And as it does so, there's this whoosh of like heat and light that just like rushes out of the open door, kind of probably damaging the rest of the door, kind of flinging it back on its hinges against the wall. And you can see that this shadow has like ribbons like blown backwards in the opposite direction from where this is detonated. But it doesn't seem like it took quite as much as you were hoping. Okay.
Oh, fuck. Just like exhausted, like looking up at the thing like, okay.
Okay.
I think actually I do want to like move out of the way. I can't take another hit like that to my strength, so I want to kind of move back and like let these guards put themselves
behind me.
Yeah, like they might be coming for me. I don't know. So
do you want to move down the hallway or just like up against the wall opposite of the door kind of thing? It's a decently wide hallway.
Yeah, I want to go like maybe like 10 I'll go like across the hallway and like a few feet down to where I can like still see into the room a bit, but then probably in the opposite direction that the guards are coming from.
Towards Chimeran and Locks?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Vera. You see darkness for a second. Everything is gone. Everything you could see, everything you could hear, everything you could feel, all of it in the blink of an eye is taken from you. The only thing you can feel is the stockings and leather of the shoe of Escanada's ankle still in your hand. And then everything rushes back in. Sights, sounds, smells. Where is it that we find you?
I think you had it set to a church. Wasn't it set to a church?
Maybe. I couldn't remember if you had reset it or not. Let me see.
I never did.
I think I have it on the card. Orion's Diamond.
Yes,
this medallion is currently keyed to the Church of Orion, the god of the stars and sky in Aladalgo. Okay. Okay, cool. So do you want to describe what that looks like?
Being the god of the stars and the sky, I feel like when you first, like when she kind of opens her eyes and looks around, she sees this kind of stone room that it has this beautiful kind of light gray with dark gray marbling through it all over the place, and everything here is decorated in this kind of rich blue fabrics that are meant to look like the nighttime sky. And everywhere along the walls there's these silver like candelabras and the chandelier, and but it's not just something that holds a candle. It's got prisms almost kind of around it, but instead of casting rainbowed light, everything shines in whites and silvers, and it flickers, and they seem to somehow be on these the chandelier seems to somehow be on this constantly spinning device. It almost turns it into like a disco ball kind of effect, but it only reflects up onto the ceiling. So every time you look up in this building, you just see this kind of nighttime looking sky that's constantly in motion above them. And the floor is, it's cold because it's stone, but the appearance of the fabrics and warms everything. It doesn't have that chilled kind of architecture look. And there's a sense of extreme quiet. Typically buildings like this will echo the sound, but again, because of all these rich fabrics everywhere, all that sound is getting absorbed, and there's a intensity of stillness around her.
You take all of this in a moment, and when you turn and look to Escanada, she is lying on the ground, moving, but she's writhing and moaning in pain.
Vera is going to get up on her hands and knees and kind of crawl over to Escanada, and she's going to roll the woman onto her side. So she's facing her, and she is going to put her hands on Escanada's and look in her eyes. And Escanada, are you there? Escanada, can you hear me? Are you okay? And she's going to put a cure wound spell into her at the second level while she is doing this.
Okay.
So she will get 11 hit points of healing to her.
11 points. She she regains some of her color in her face. You can see as it kind of rises up back up on her cheeks a little. And she does not seem to be as in intense agony as she was just before. But she's still, her brow is still furrowed. She's still kind of lulling her head kind of back and forth, and she doesn't seem to be wholly here, wholly conscious. The child in her belly is moving a lot.
I'm going to ask for some clarification on this movement.
So
is
even
this
go ahead.
baby's upset and kicking, or is this those hands were actually face huggers and an alien is about to burst forth kind of movement? I'm just looking for a scale.
So it's noticeable enough to see it through her layers of clothing, but it's hard to really tell. It's not like, something is pushing against the belly wall repeatedly or something like that. It's more erratic than that.
Okay. She's just going to, I used the teleport and then the action, so I did my action for that. She's just going to kind of put her hand on Escanada's stomach, feeling the movements, and she's going to get in close next to her ear Scanada, I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down. I have got you. I take care of all kinds of people all day long. You are fine. I need you to calm down. I need you to breathe and focus on my voice. Focus on my voice. You are safe now. We are away from that thing. And I'm going to give her a bardic inspiration in case she is in need of any sort of boost to any checks she might be doing
Okay.
that I'm unaware of.
Fantastic. You are a D8 at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, that was Vera. We jump back to the evolving situation at the Via, where Sylvie, you are making your way down this hallway.
Can they get there or not yet?
How far did you
At the
move
end of
last
this
time?
turn.
On your first time?
Well, we were just moving, so I
Okay,
assume it's
just
a
a
dash
regular
action.
Oh, okay, so 60. All right, so that was...
Well,
would have
she
been
was just
90.
talking to him, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he would have been hustling, so that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right, so you are 30 feet away. So you're in the hallway, and you can see Guillaume kind of launch himself out of the room and fling fire back into the room, which then erupts. And he kind of scoots himself down the wall, kind of towards you a little bit. The guards at the end of the hall are picking up the pace. And Mercutio, however, is furious. What are you doing? He is screaming at Guillaume.
A shadow just ate your wife.
Do you hear yourself?
Come look. You go in.
He is approaching, but it is your turn, Sylvie. Is there anything that you want to do from 30 feet away?
Shit. She says, she's looking at Guillaume. He probably doesn't look super awesome right now. So I think that she is going to go up to him, like as the guy is going into the room. She's going to kind of rush up to him and kind of kneel down. What is going on? Are you okay? Where are the others?
Don't worry about it. Just go along for now. Kill that thing, though.
She's going to look in the room if she can.
Yeah, you see this strange shadow kind of leaning away from the wall, somewhat still connected to the shadow on the wall, with these weird ribbons of almost like smoke coming off of it in various places. It's definitely not moving or behaving the way a shadow should.
Okay. Does she still have her action? Or
So you were
moving up?
Yeah, no, yeah, you're up to you were kind of running up to Guillaume. So you had to dash in order to get there.
Okay, so yeah, then that's is there anything I can do?
Anything bonus action?
Yeah, so I do think that Sylvie is going to, you see, she takes a piece of fabric and she quickly wraps it around Guillaume's wrist, like very messily and quickly. But Guillaume, you can feel a little bit of, I guess, security wash over you as she is going to use her bonus action to cast Sanctuary on Guillaume. So you are warded against attacks now.
All right.
And he'll just say, thank you. The thing knocked the wind out of me. I don't know what happened. I'm feeling a little weak right now.
Yeah, Sylvia's turn.
And Sylvie, you can see getting this close to Guillaume, probably peeking out from the the opening of his tunic or something like that, you can see it looks like black veins on his skin or beneath his skin. Okay. The guards approach. One of them moves to the door to see into the room. The other one moves to stand over Guillaume, his pike lowered towards Guillaume, holding you kind of against the wall, as it were. Chimeran, it is your turn.
So I am by the door, if I remember correctly, where Guillaume was before he jumped back and flung a fireball into the room. So I am going to, seeing that the guards are all here now, I'm going to attack this creature, or creatures or whatever they are, with my sword, or my rapier. I forgot to mention too, it gives off light, dim light, and itself in a 30-foot radius. So I'm going to take this glowing blade and I am going to try to attack the nearest shadow tentacle thing that's there.
Okay. Roll your attacks.
All right.
Or attack. I don't know how many you have.
Attack. I just get one.
Okay. Yeah, a rogue. Never mind.
Yeah. 17 to hit.
That hits.
Perfect. Now, I'm going to assume sneak is not going to work on this at this point. So
what
that'll
does
be 9
sneak?
points.
What does sneak do? Like, what kind of damage does it do? Does it label it? I'll look it up while you're adding up your dice.
Just says extra 3d6 damage. I don't know if it says anywhere else.
So it's probably the same type as the weapon itself.
As the weapon, yeah. So
Yeah, it is.
weapon damage would be magic
Okay.
damage, sneak attack damage.
Yeah. So yes, it will be in
Okay.
effect as well.
Oh, okay. So 9 from the rapier itself, magical, plus 11 more with the sneak. So total 20.
20, and it is magical, so it's going to take all of that. Okay. Remember that. Or I'll remember it. I'll write it down, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Um,
And
So it's still
I'd
in the
like
game.
to move. Okay. I would guess I'd like to move like 5 more feet into the room, if you will, like so that I'm not standing right in the doorway, so that
Okay.
others could also enter. But
Okay. Yeah, you
But
kind of
staying
work your way
engaged with
around
this
this creature, almost like you would fighting a normal opponent, but you find it a little disconcerting that you can't tell what direction this thing is facing. Like there is no discernible features of this thing at all. So even though you can kind of gauge how far away you are from it, it's impossible to know whether you're stepping directly into this thing's line of sight or slipping in behind it. Okay. Locks, you're up.
Okay, so I will move.
sorry,
30
sorry.
Go ahead.
As a bonus action, I want to use the help action to aid Locks in attacking this creature
Okay.
because he's within 50.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move 30 feet to the door. And I want to position myself either in the doorway or just inside the room so that I have clear line of sight to this shadow creature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of just inside the doorway.
Just inside the doorway? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go ahead and cast. Well, so Locks sort of finally gets a clear sort of picture of this thing and has a very similar reaction to Guillaume, where he's just like, what the fuck? And he just hurls out one hand, and it begins to collect in his hand, and he directs it out as sort of collect here. This kind of like, and I'm going to cast Witch Bolt at the shadow. So that's a spell attack for me, and I have advantage on it from Chimeran.
Nice.
First roll is a 3. Second roll is a 2. What?
Ooh.
Oh,
Chimeran turns around and goes, "What the fuck?"
It's so I think it's been a little bit since Lox has tried to do this much magic, so it just kind of fizzles in his hand so it's like this, like it just fizzles out and sort of becomes sparks in his hand.
Do you want to pop a corp on inspiration?
Oh, can I stack inspiration the aid, so I just get to roll a third die? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so essentially you would just roll again with advantage. It just gives you a free reroll.
Oh, okay. Yes, I want to do that.
Okay.
Yes, I wish that.
Try it again.
Okay. It's 20 on the first roll.
Well, all right then.
15. Okay, so dirty 20. I'll take that. And here, how much damage? Just 1d12. So 7 damage. So yeah, it's just this crackling beam of light, this sort of like fractal beam that sort of emits outward from Lox's hand, kind of a sort of a weird mixture of it almost looks like glass forming, but also like feathers sort of pluming outwards. This very interesting looking collection of arcane energy that then crackles outwards and strikes this creature. And Locke is standing there. He's got his sword in one hand and he's reaching out, palm outward with the other. And he sort of closes his fist around that beam and concentrates it on the creature, attempting to hold that like Ghostbusters beam on this creature as he's standing there. And that will be my turn.
What does it look like as your spell kills this creature?
So the sort of lightning forks through this creature, and I actually think, if you'll allow it, Jeremy, that like it sort of like illuminates the skeletons of whatever is in there, and so we can kind of see what's going on in there. And I don't know what exactly is going on in there, but I imagine that it's something horrific that you can describe if you want.
So yeah, it's like you can see like the hand bones and the arm bones, but these arm bones are 4 times as long as they should be based on how big around they are. And all of them kind of seem to truncate into what looks almost like a rip or a tear, almost like a really grotesque bouquet.
Disgusting. So we see that, and then for just an instant, the whole thing takes on this energy, and it sort of just poofs. It just is like and just ash kind of falling from the ceiling as this thing is just obliterated by this energy. Lox for a second sort of loses control of the beam and sort of goes along the ceiling and just cuts a big scorched gouge into the ceiling of his fist all the way to sort of like snap the energy off. And he sort of staggers backwards and goes, whew, and is sort of like shaking off his hand, like his hand is like burnt from the energy.
Mercuzio kind of like stares in disbelief, almost standing kind of in the middle of the room, turned around and facing where Chimeran and Lox are kind of gathered near the door, where one of his guardsmen is kind of standing there dumbstruck. What in the nine hells is the meaning of this?
You're welcome.
Where is Escanada?
I can. Oh God. Oh. Oof. He's like getting up, and it seems like very difficult. Like he's kind of like slunk down by the wall. That shadow absconded with your wife. It seemed to be pulling her into itself. It grabbed our companion as well, and it just seemed to pull them into itself, and they disappeared entirely. Then it reformed and flattened. There was no way they could have been in there. It must have teleported them somewhere or taken them somewhere. It just ate her entirely. I'm sorry.
What was that thing? Where did it come
I have
from?
no idea. Great question. It was in your house.
And it just so happens to have arrived at the precise moment that the group of you have come to my house.
Listen. If you hadn't stalled us, and when we first asked you if your wife was around, and she looks to Sylvie, maybe we could have saved her. But no, you didn't trust us. You didn't want anybody to see her. You put her in a box and said she's fine and she doesn't want to talk to anyone, and made us drink your wine. And, well, you're welcome. At least it's gone now.
The Justicaros will hear of this.
We just saved your life. You're welcome.
Clearly, he kind of indicates the like singed curtains and like the bed clothes and like the riff across like the ceiling with the lightning damage. And I expect to be reimbursed, he says, looking at Sylvie.
Well, you're telling me that one of my associates was eaten by something in your house, and you want me to reimburse you for what? How about you reimburse me a whole human life? Do you know how long that is going to take me to get that quality of help again?
I was robbed of 2 lives. He narrows his eyes at Sylvie.
And that is by some strange magical thing in your house.
As I said, the Justicaros will hear of this.
Yes,
And
they
when-
will hear of this. We will tell them everything that you have done to our group here. You allowed one of us to be absconded with by some shadow demon you're keeping in your wife's chambers. How are we to know that this is not some pet of yours that got loose?
He checks himself, like straightens up his posture, and he reaches down and begins to take off his glove 1 finger at a time, which he then pulls off of his wrist and approaches you, Guillaume, and slaps you across the face with it, and then throws it to the ground in front of you. You wish to make such accusations while you bite
don't
the
think I was
hand
the
of
one that started.
hospitality in my home, in my hall, with outside of the bedroom of my missing wife? Pick up the glove if you dare, coward, and we will settle this in the old ways.
I think Sylvie would step in. Listen, it has been a big day. Everyone has lost someone. We will leave. We'll go. Perhaps we can. I hope that you find, and we find our associate, and you find your wife. But whatever this is not going to find either of them. So we will leave. And she kind of holds up her hand.
All of Aledalg will know you for your character, or the lack thereof. He says, like, bending down to pick up his unclaimed glove.
But before he does that, Jeremy,
Ooh.
I have to ask a question.
Okay.
About, is it like a no-no to leave a tossed glove on the ground? Like, is it like the honorable thing, the proper thing to like have somebody pick up that glove?
It's definitely people will absolutely look down on someone who backs down. If you issue the kind of slander that usually is associated with this kind of a challenge, and then you back down, it tends to make you look a little weak.
Okay, I have a couple dual questions as well.
Okay.
One, if you accept the challenge, are you expected to face it yourself in like, or are like champions a thing?
Yeah, so it kind of depends. Like, most people who pick up a glove and accept the challenge of a duel would be expected to go through with it on their own. However, there are a lot of people, particularly people of station, who have someone who steps in as their champion, and it's kind of like it's just an accepted thing.
Okay. Are duels always like, is the to the death part always like up for grabs for the person who wins, or is it like you can set terms?
So I just so happen to have the printout right here for how I did the duel rules for this game. A challenge can be issued for a duel against an individual opponent, and if met, then terms are set. The challenger determines the satisfaction that the duel demands. First blood, concession, such as when one side can no longer continue to fight, or death. The defender then determines the means by which the duel will be fought. Daggers, staves, swords, wands, etc.
Oh, does this dude look like he's got like magical training? Like, does he like seem like someone who would know what he was doing with a wand? I know I don't know if there's really a way to know that.
Hard to tell. It's not like a nicotine stain on the finger or anything that gives it away.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a component pouch. He's too rich to carry his own shit.
No. Yeah, he doesn't. He's not wearing anything obvious.
God damn it. I'm so weak right now. Does the duel also happen? Like, do we set the time? Is this something that we would have time to prepare for?
Yeah. Yeah. You can set the time.
Okay.
There's not usually a lot of time. It's, the next morning or the day after that kind of thing.
Enough time for me to get my, like, if I can try to rest back up. Oh God, this seems like a terrible idea. You guys will help me cheat, right?
It's a terrible idea. So
wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Time out. One more question about duels. If I pick a weapon, does he get to provide his own weapon, or is it like a set of like identical like dueling weapons? Or like, I'm wondering if there's a way I can ensure that he wouldn't have a magic blade. This would be so cheap, but if he has just a regular sword, he can't get me.
So, I mean, in theory, you could, you're the one who picks the weapons, right? That's what the rules said, because you're the defender. Because he issued, so he gets to choose the demands. And so then, yes, you get to determine by which means. So you could demand that it is equal blades or something like that if you wanted to.
All right, well, now that Guillaume knows he has a way to cheat, he will happily pick up the glove and say, what is your satisfaction?
I will only be satisfied with death.
That always seems the way with your type.
For
You're
Escanada,
real.
I demand it.
I think then I will say well, I know it is my choice, but I must ask, what would you prefer? Wands or steel?
He kind of tilts his head. You know your way around magic.
I've dabbled.
Very well. Then I hope you dabble well. Wands it is.
Well, I was asking for your preference. I still get to set. I think I will say steel. Equal blades, non-magical.
He nods his head, kind of realizing that you've pulled a fast one. Very well. Will you provide the swords, or would you prefer that I provide them?
I will provide the swords. Rapiers, dawn. Here acceptable to you?
Of course.
Good, I'd prefer not to travel all the way back to the city this late.
Wonderful. I will bury you beside the others.
Oh, I appreciate the honor. There'll be some swamp nearby to throw your body into, I'm sure.
He smiles weakly. Very well. Then perhaps you should rest. Dawn is not too far away, I think.
Yes, I always like a good 8 hours before I murder a nobleman in his own home. Fairly
Maybe
well,
someone
then.
can put some food in you. You look a little weak.
Yes, but it's more about the speed of the wrist. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I would love to continue this tete-a-tete, getting the last word over and over, but I really must be going. And he's just gonna turn to walk away. It's like, I need to have the last word in this, goddammit.
He lets you have it. He watches you walk down the hallway. Is someone helping Guillaume get down the hallway?
I think
No?
he would probably like at this point with this going on, like shake off any help, and even if he's limping a bit and like very weakly holding himself, is just going to like take him out with as much, like as postured as he can.
Okay. The rest of you, maybe even only just now, are realizing that Vera is gone, as is Escanada, and the only explanation that you have heard has been Guillaume saying that the shadow swallowed them both.
He did manage to whisper to me a different story before.
Who did? Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Chimeran, you understand a bit more than of what is going on, but the three of you are escorted, or the four of you are escorted from the premises by the guards that work here at the Villa. Meanwhile, at the Church of Orion, back in Alidalgo, Escanada has calmed quite a bit. Her breathing has become more regular. The baby has stopped moving, at least erratically and frequently. She is more or less kind of asleep at this point. And if if you're still there, then she's just got her head on in your lap or whatever. She She hasn't really been responsive, however. For the moment, you can hear that there is some sounds outside. The noise sounds like revelry. It just sounds like people that are still, partying it up for Martival. It's probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. Or at least it was. So your guess is that whoever runs this cathedral is either out partying or has turned in for the evening.
Vera, as she was kind of talking to Escamilla, she kind of laid there and just sat there and just let her lay her head in her lap, and she started kind of singing this really sweet sounding song to her in this kind of random language that any normal person walking down the street probably wouldn't understand. And eventually, when she starts to cue in on the sounds outside and everything that's going on and the fact that there doesn't seem to be any attendance here, she's going to kind of take a breath for a moment, and she's going to cast a sending spell to Guillaume, and she's going to tell him, I have Escanada. We are safe for now. Going to the Contessa. Are you okay?
Not exactly okay, but alive. We'll meet you at the Contessa's. Unfortunately, I might have to kill Escanada's husband tomorrow morning. Got a duel. Thanks.
Okay. With that, she's going to and you said there's no attendance in here anywhere?
None that have come to see you, but again, you kind of just appeared here and haven't made a lot of noise other than, her kind of, writhing around from before. So it seems like if there's anybody here, they're asleep somewhere else.
Okay. I'm going to imagine the pews here with all this blue fabric and stuff have kind of these really nice kind of fancy cushions on them and stuff, and that are removable for cleaning and everything. And I'm going to pull one of those off and kind of slide it under her head. And I am going to run to the main door and try to open it. Does it open?
It doesn't, but the bar for it is on your side.
Okay.
So you can easily throw the bar back and then open it. Yeah,
I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw the bar back and open it, and I'm going to look for a carriage. Actually, I'm going to scan for a carriage, and if there's not one, I'm going to look for a street rat kid. One of the little mice, we were calling them, I think. And if I find one... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so there's not a ton of carriages in Al Hidalgo, but gondolas, which serve the same purpose, would not be very far away, so that you could spot a gondolier not far. But the street urchins are also never far away, so... She's going to find a street urchin who... She's going to try to find an older looking boy who maybe has some muscle to him to help her carry Escanada. I want to get her to one of the gondolas, and then I want to take her to the Contessa's house. Okay. With a little bit of help, you can certainly do so. There's not really even a ton of people that look at this as being all that strange currently, because there's a ton of people who are drinking in excess and passing out and having to be carried home anyways. So this doesn't look all that strange currently.
Okay. I'm going to give the street urchin kid a gold for his help.
Okay. He's enthusiastically will take it. Okay. So that will square away Escanada and Vera. Cutting back to the group of you who have just been ceremoniously thrown out the front door. What's the mood on the front steps of this house? What is the conversation like as you make your way back to your horses? I guess technically they would be brought to you, but
as soon as we're all like relatively out of earshot, Sylvie's gonna like wheel around on Guillaume and Chimarin and what does anyone want to tell me what happened? Where is
good
Vera?
News. There's good news and bad news. Vera is safe, and she got Escanada out. The bad news is, did Vera say in the sending message where she was? She was back in Alhidalgo?
I said I was going to the Contessa.
Yeah,
so
she said, yeah. I'm
pretty much
assuming
assume
she's
it, yeah.
back in the city because she said that she was going to meet us at the Contessa's. So I don't think she'll be able to make it out here by tomorrow morning. Sorry I had to delay that. I would have loved to just kill him right there, but I feel like I am on the verge of vomiting, and I can barely hold my pack. So I figured I should take a nap or something first. Maybe eat some cereal.
So what is the plan here, Guillaume? Because you said swords, and I've never seen you use a sword. So are we disguising me to look like you? What's the plan here?
Right. Okay. So I did take some fencing lessons when I was younger. I've kept up with the discipline a bit. I know my way around a rapier at least. But here's what I was thinking. And he'll like pull out his regular dagger and just like stab it into his own side.
Hey!
And like, ow! Fuck! And then yank it back out. And like you see like the thing just stitches back up, like the little like wound. He's like, do you get what I'm getting at? I called for non-magical weapons, so I'm hoping, unless he can do what I can do, there shouldn't be a way that he can actually kill me.
What if he just lops your head off?
Or stabs you through the heart?
Or maybe just leaves the blade in you.
Huh. I feel like now I should have
like
talked to the
trained were-rat killer for all we know. We have no idea.
Okay, if I'm being honest, I was going off of kind of a hunch, some intuition, and like a 5-minute conversation we had with the Saint of Rats where he like stabbed me in the hand, and I was like, oh, hey. That I might not have thought it through too much. I'm going to be honest, I was kind of angry. The guy's a real dick.
In all honesty, Guillaume, I did not see you picking up that glove. I didn't know you had it in you. I am concerned, though, that you might be murdered tomorrow.
Well, then we'll have to figure out some ways to cheat. I've already got a flame breath potion. I was thinking I would take that before the duel started, and if it seemed like it was really going the wrong way, I would just burn him to death. We might end up having to do some collateral murder if there are a lot of witnesses to that, and that is not plan A. Plan A is to do it clean, to get in there, to really stab him enough times for him to die, and for me to not die in the process. I really didn't think about the beheading thing. I wish I had asked more questions of the saint now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I got a pretty incomplete primer on the whole set of powers that come with this. and I made some maybe impulsive decisions based on some incomplete information. I'll admit that.
Have you ever been in a duel, Guillaume? No, know what's involved?
I've definitely been challenged to several. I did. There was one guy that I was like, I could definitely take this guy, and he's not going to try to kill me. And like, he didn't call for death, and I came really close to winning. I almost didn't give up.
Okay.
So one duel, I was in one duel, and it didn't go great, but I was not a were-rat then.
Listen, Guillaume, I hate to tell you, but your life is not only on the line, but also my reputation, because if he lives, then I am out of the business. Not to put any more pressure on the situation, that was meant to be more motivating and feel
Sure,
like
inspirational, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to put that on maybe the second thing on my list of things I'm worrying about, but it's up there.
She nods. I can make you some armor that is a little extra helpful. No magic weapons, but she's like thinking of what she can do. She does have some tricks with her infusions.
We could always sneak in and try to just murder him tonight before the duel. That is an option. I want to put that out there. He's like immediately backing, like kind of like backing out of this honor that he's kind of like tried to step up to. As soon as there's the thought of like, oh, there could be real consequences for this. He's like, oh, I don't really care about honor, and I'm disguised right now. Like he thinks I'm Hubert Ronaldo. I don't give a shit about that guy. That guy's reputation, but. Just a thought. We could try to murder him, burn his house down, maybe.
No.
Okay, then we're gonna go with Plan A, where I miraculously don't get murdered by the guy who's probably a better swordsman than me. But he seemed real confident when it came to spells. I didn't like the way he said wands so quickly.
I mean, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you, Guillaume.
Thank you. My corpse will feel a great sense of honor and the pride you have in me. Wait a minute. I was talking trash so well a minute ago. No, I'm going to beat him. I'm going to beat him. It's going to be fine.
Guillaume, you should rest. And if you want to try and run through some forms with Chimeran and I before the duel, I'm sure we'd be happy to give you a refresher. If he allows you to pick seconds, we might not be out of this completely.
Okay. Definitely a nap though. I think that would be first, or one sec. And he just starts like retching. Okay. Oh, the black veins are really itchy.
So
Tender.
plan C or D or E, however many it takes, is if you feel like you're going to lose or you're losing, just do your thing and scurry away.
It's a good idea. Got a couple tricks. I was thinking I might summon my Fey companion, have him kind of hide out of sight if things look like they're going wrong, swoop in, start a stabbing. It's one option. I could try to phase myself to the astral plane if it really gets hairy. I'd like to not do that. really feels weird. It feels like all the blood inside your body is like next to your body, and you feel really hollow. The astral plane's not a pleasant place.
You'll be fine.
Okay. So it sounds like we are going to prepare for a dawn duel. So I think this is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. We're going to take a 10-minute, go to the bathroom, refill your drinks, smoke them if you got them, etc., etc. By the way, everyone can level up if you wish to do that during the break. And yeah, 10 minutes. We will be right back with the second half of tonight with Evermore le Masquerade. Sit tight. We will be right back. and welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We're back from our break now with the second half of session number 18 of Evermore le Masquerade. This session is titled By a Thread. It's been an exciting first half, and I think we're about to have a duel. But before we get to that, as the rest of the group is resting up and getting ready for whatever dawn may bring, out at the Via de la Apozuelo, in the city of Al Hidalgo, some couple of miles or so away, Vera and Escanada have arrived at the Condessa's estate, greeted once again by one of the lurching figures at the door, the skeletal, skull-faced individuals who do not speak will let you in, and you will be shown to a bedroom, essentially, being able to take Escanada to a place to lie down. And before long, the Condessa will find you. And she appears, again, skeletal herself, but the clinking of jewelry can be heard against her bones as she sweeps up behind you, Vera, kind of looking at this poor woman laying on the bed. What has happened to her?
Escanada de la Pozuelo. She, and she'll kind of turn and move her closer to the door to out of the woman's hearing. She was attacked by a shadow with arms, dozens of arms reaching out of it, and they drained energy from her, and the only thing I could think of was I needed to get her out, so I teleported us out. I used my mother's jewel, and it took us to Orion's cathedral, and you were the only place I thought I could bring her, and I don't know, she's pregnant, but it is not her husband's child. And
is she one of the women who is on your list?
Yes, she is. She's the way her husband's treating her, and the fact that she's pregnant and he's not excited about it. We think she got pregnant during the Amigazada, and something's kidnapping these women. One of my girls was taken, and
she was also on your list.
Yes, I went to check on her last night.
And the creature, you said it was a shadow with many hands?
Shadow with hands, long arms and claws with long black nails on them, reaching out, and it pulled her up into the air, into the ceiling, into itself, and then it drained her.
She kind of reaches up and kind of touches her lower jaw in thought. Come with me. And she turns and kind of like swirls her skirts as she spins on her heels.
I'm worried that something will track her. I didn't know where else to go. I thought if anyone could protect her.
Of course. She takes you very quickly to her library, the place where her portrait is still missing from above the mantle. She moves over to the bookcase to the left of the fireplace and very quickly kind of runs her bony finger kind of along several spines of books before she reaches up and grabs a leather-wrapped tome that's kind of dark red and has what looks like it was probably gold infill in the embossing and the lettering, but it has long since faded almost to the point of not even reflecting light anymore. She brings it over to one of the tables nearby and opens it and begins flipping through like chunks of pages at a time. very quickly finding something that she's looking for specifically in this book before she opens this page, and you can see a diagram, a drawing, like an illustration on the left-hand page that looks very similar. Like a chill goes through your spine because of how well the artist captured the essence of this creature. You can see that this creature is called a diombra. I'll put it in our chat. These creatures are a type of undead, a type of manifested darkness, and they are often pressed into service by powerful mage type individuals, magic casters, who manage to do this particular ritual. You see a mention of this particular ritual. It seems to have different names, but one of the names that you see is the Iron Mass.
Mask or mass?
Mass, like church service. And these things basically come from the world of the dead. And they thirst for life in general. But similarly to almost like a revenant, they can be sent after a specific target or a specific kind of target. Is this what you saw?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's it. It was... I heard it and I broke into her room and it was lifting her off the floor and pulling her into it. I
She
don't know what
nods.
happened to it.
You are lucky to have survived, much less her. She is a strong woman.
It was just the two of us, and I have many talents, and none of them lie in intense hand-to-hand combat with undead creatures. So I got us out.
I think you made the right decision. What about your friends?
They're all alive. I sent them a sending spell. Apparently her husband has challenged Guillaume to a duel, and speaking of which, I'm sorry, it's been a very long day.
I understand.
I need to... This is good information, and we will come back to talk about this. And if one of these comes into your home, I am so sorry, but we need to keep her safe. It looks like this is an assassin type of creature as opposed to a kidnapping creature. We know the other women have been taken. I scryed on them and we saw them.
They have the capability of consuming someone with shadow, of taking them into a pocket dimension, and they can travel with them that way. Through the shadows. They do not need to move like a normal creature.
I need to get back to off of the main island here and
Of course.
back to her house to meet Guillaume for this duel, but I have no way to get there, and I am going to ask yet again for another favor, and I also need to sleep. Is there any way one of your attendants that we could get in a boat or something and I could be taken there so that I could sleep while we sit. I need to sleep. And I need to be there for Guillaume. He's gonna get in a duel. I don't know why would Guillaume get in a duel?
Your friend is, well,
He's,
sometimes his tongue moves faster than his brain.
most of the time his tongue moves faster than his brain, but I kind of anticipated his very, very determined and reliable need for self-preservation to overrule those things, and such a fool.
Your friend comes from money, and many with money put a very high value on their honor. Foolishly so at times.
But anyways, is there a way that you could help me once again?
Certainly. I will send word to see if I cannot book a passage. We can take you to the shore as soon as it is ready.
I'm going to just sit in the room with her and rest for a bit until the passage is ready.
Very well. I will have food and drink brought to you.
Thank you. It's appreciated.
And while you are gone, she will be safe here.
Thank you again, Contessa.
Of course.
Can I take this book and read about these things for a little bit?
Please. She kind of pushes the book towards you and kind of makes sure that the candle or what have you is positioned well enough for you to be able to read.
Mm-hmm. Vera's just going to kind of relax and read the page or two or whatever's in here about these things and how to deal with them and what they are, where they come from. And then when the food's brought in, she's going to eat a little bit of it and have a quick drink. And then she is going to lay down on whatever couch or whatever is available in the room with Escanata until they tell her it's time to go. And when she is on the ship, she's going to yell at the cat that's on the ship with her. And then she's going to sleep and she's just trying to get some energy back for this duel in the morning.
Okay. Meanwhile, as the night settles on the shoreline of Lago Dar, where are the four of you calling it a night at? Where are you bedding down? Are you heading back to where the ferries come and go from to look for lodging for the evening? Are you roughing it?
Yeah, when we came out this way, was there places at the dock?
Certainly. Many of them are probably going to be full, but you could get lucky.
Oh yeah, we'll get lucky. Oh, and we'll probably find a room as well.
Ew. Yeah, I think Guillaume would like to try to sleep in a bed, if at all possible, before potentially dying or having to murder someone. Hopefully the latter.
Okay.
I mean, we have to celebrate what could be Guillaume's last night on this earth. So.
Okay.
I think you mean last night on this earth as someone who has never won a duel before.
I mean, that works too.
So this this shoreside inn is very packed at the moment, but the innkeeper will let you know that they do have a single room left. It has a single bed in it, and if your friends would like, the innkeeper is fine with them crashing on the floor or in the common room.
Sure, we could fit at least 3 of us in the bed.
Can't you just sleep in rat shape?
Oh, I've never thought of that.
And the 3 of us left can sleep in the bed.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works with like healing, but this feels like a great time to experiment and find out for the first time. Maybe not. Maybe I just want to sleep in human form on the bed if you don't mind. I gotta be rested up for tomorrow. I do want to like ask the barkeep, and maybe anyone around just at the bar, like, so you guys live in the area. What have you heard about this Mercuzia de la Apazuelo?
Mercuzio de la Abuelo. The owner of
Yes,
the
I've heard the name a
large
bunch. I'd like to know what you know about it.
estate.
Yes.
Well,
Continue.
he's quite wealthy, very powerful. He's a stern man.
Heard anything about his dueling capabilities?
He kind of averts your eyes for a second. There are rumors, but no one is certain because there have not been many witnesses who do not work directly for Senor Pozuelo.
What
Most
kind of
people do
rumors
not
are we
survive the duels with him.
Right. Okay. 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 Just rumors, though. Nothing solid to go on.
No, nothing confirmed. No, I'm sorry. You are you looking to duel?
Oh,
Senor
me?
Apozuelo?
No, just curious. How well liked is he in these parts? You said he's stern. I assume that carries through to the rabble, common folk, the people. Sorry.
Well, I would never speak poorly of a man who was not here to speak on his own behalf. You understand?
Well, let's pretend he was here to speak on his own behalf. What would you say? Well, okay, but let's pretend that he was here, but he wasn't as powerful as he is, so he couldn't just really destroy your life for you speaking honestly. Just tell me what you actually think of him. I'm not going to tell anybody.
He kind of looks around as if he's not entirely certain that he trusts you, but he leans in and he says, "He is a horrible man. He's cruel and tyrannical. But, as I said, he is very powerful, and his coin flows through this station here at the ferries in large amounts. So, I'd really appreciate if perhaps we could not let this leave between you and I."
Thank you so much for the drink, my good man. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I do appreciate the service. And I'll like slide him a silver piece.
Yes, of course. Of course. He takes the silver piece. Okay. As the
Hear me?
evening... Yes.
One thing that Vera is going to do before she sits down to rest is she's going to use her last third level spell slot of the day. to send Guillaume another message and tell him we're at the Condessa's. Escanada is safe. I have information on the creature. I am on my way back. I will be there for the duel.
So good to hear from you. Thank goodness you will attend. We may need to cheat. Also, please bring 2 regular swords. I forgot that earlier.
She will just sigh to herself. Guillaume. Vessa, do you have 2 regular steel rapiers?
Yes, I'm certain that we have some around somewhere.
Can Guillaume borrow them? Apparently he initiated a duel and then forgot to bring weapons.
Certainly, yes. Of course.
I have no answer other than it's Guillaume.
No answer is required.
Thank you.
Okay. So at the tavern, as the hours are passing, dawn is soon going to be creeping closer and closer. Is there anything else that's being said or done before you call it a night?
Yeah, Guillaume is going to just drink lightly, not a lot. Like he's just gonna have like 1 or 2 beverages to just kind of calm his nerves. He'll kind of meditate, which is not something that's usual for him, but he's really trying to like, I'm gonna do anything I can right now to try to beat this. And he is like, he's kind of meditating on like, he's just holding in his mind this picture of the perfect rat, and meditating on his like ratdom. And he's like, I'm gonna rat fuck this guy tomorrow if he tries to fuck with me. I'm gonna rat fuck this guy tomorrow if he tries to rat fuck with me. And like just kind of like repeating the mantra and just trying to figure out like, okay, every avenue of which I can cheat if this does not go my way. Like I'm gonna go for it straight, but as soon as it starts turning, he's just turning over in his mind as he sits there meditating, like in the room.
All right. Then we will cut to the hour or so before dawn the next day. Vera, you have arrived. You are able to meet back up with the rest of your group and ride back
How
out
exactly?
to the estate if you'd like. But sorry.
Guillaume, how exactly did you get into a duel?
He challenged me. I probably shouldn't have said yes, but it felt like it would have been really embarrassing to say no in front of everyone else. And
What
he was
happened after I
being
left?
such a dick. I don't think you understand what a dick he was being. I need you to really understand that. Like fully take that into your being. He was such a dick.
I've
And
seen the way he treats his wife. You don't need to explain it to me anymore. But what happened after I left?
well, I shot a super cool ass fireball into the room and burned the shit out of the shadow. Then Lox and Chimeran both rushed in. Lox did some gnarly shit that Lox, I did not know that you knew magic like that, by the way. Like was that a witch bolt? Like that was one of the first spells I learned, and it's so good. It's so good. You did it fantastically, by the way. That was a flawless execution. So he witch bolted it, and I think that, well, actually, Chimeran stabbed the thing a couple times with that glass rapier, and that really did some damage. And then it
Thank you
seemed
for
like
at least mentioning that.
that was awesome. No, that was great. I wish I had taken more time to study your form, because it's maybe going to come in handy like an hour from now. But that's basically what happened. The shadow dissipated. You're asking probably more about what happened to cause the duel. So that was more him coming in and accusing us of being the cause of everything that was happening, when we were really just there to help. And
Did you just tell him that his wife is alive and she's okay?
No, I thought he might be angry if we said that you teleported his wife out because he was keeping her like a prisoner. So I said that you and the wife were both consumed by the shadow. This might be a problem now that I'm realizing that you're here and his wife is not.
No, I don't. Just give me a moment. She's gonna kind of like turn away, and she kind of starts whispering to herself a little bit, or like kind of muttering or something, and then you guys kind of watch as like the way she looks just changes. Like her clothes stay the same, but like she just looks different. She looks like where Vera has this kind of black and red hair, and she's got like the red disappears, and it kind of all turns like a golden brown kind of color, and she just all of her features change, and she looks like kind of a mashup between maybe Gabriella from the Castillo and one of the other girls that you've seen there. And she kind of says, no, I'm fine, just call me something else, give me a different name.
Cronessa.
For fuck's sake.
It's a character I'm writing in one of my plays, but that's beside the point. Now, I do want to say I'm slightly torn here. On the one hand, we could tell him that his wife is alive and maybe stop this whole thing in its tracks. On the other hand, that seems like a bad idea, because he is, again, and I just want to really make sure I emphasize this, such a dick. And it seems like him knowing his wife is alive would be bad for his wife.
It would be. He treats her like, I mean, anyways, if you kill him, then it's not a problem. So if you die, we have to deal with figuring out how to tell him the truth and the problem. And if you kill him, it's not a problem. So either way, you don't have to concern yourself with it.
That actually really helps. Okay.
I'm glad.
Fuck it, let's do this. And he's going to go ahead and cast mage armor on himself preemptively, as this kind of like shimmering kind of heart, like it's almost just like a brief like shimmer of light passes over his body and then solidifies briefly before turning back to transparency. All right.
Okay. You ride back out to the Villa della Appozuelo. It is a somewhat foggy morning. Again, the temperature of the lake kind of causing this vapor to kind of hover at its edge, including the estate here on the water. You are greeted up front, much the same as you were the day before. Your horses are taken. You are led to a side room where the morning light is just starting to come in. It looks like it's some form of like informal dining room where the tables and the chairs have been moved out of the way, so that it opens up this rather large space. This would be more than adequate for two people engaged in a sword battle. He already stands with his sword drawn at the far end, kind of practicing swings with his blade and stretching, wearing something that is kind of the same color as yesterday. It's kind of red, black, embroidered threads, but this one is a lot more cut, a lot more tailored to his body. It's very much kind of meant for moving. He also uses a half cape in his offhand, twirling it as he practices with his own rapier. The individual that you saw the day before, that Guillaume kind of gave the slip to, is standing kind of in the middle of the room with his hands clasped, clearly serving as his second. So a second, typically with these duels, is the last chance for diplomacy, to try to talk the two combatants of this battle from backing down before it comes to lethality. So he stands in the middle of the room waiting to receive whoever will be standing in for your second, if you wish to have one.
I do, and I assume Locks is my logical choice of second for a solo thing, so I will elect him.
So Locks steps forward, and before he moves to the center of the room to take his position, he kind of like closes with Guillaume and is just like talking softly with him and like sort of adjusting like his like sleeves and stuff. And he says, "Don't fight too aggressive. Just hang back, rely on your guards. You know the 4 guards? You remember the 4 guards?"
Andrew, Carmela, the 4 guards that protected the king in the... That's not what you're talking about.
Do you know how to do a broad, just a middle guard? You hold the sword out like this.
Right. Yes. My instructor taught me that.
Okay.
I
Right.
remember that.
Let's go
It's a
with
war
that.
of attrition. It's a war of attrition. I got this.
Let's go with that. Keep him at a distance. Do not parry the cape. He's using a cape. Do not try and parry it. Your sword will get tangled and you will die. Do not try and parry the cape. Just move around it. Yeah?
Oh boy. Okay. I'm really worried that the words that just lodged in my head were parried the cape.
Okay.
I don't.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Don't. I got this. If the cape moves, nothing. I don't react to the cape. I'm stabbing for him.
Yeah.
Guillaume,
I got this.
Guillaume, think about, okay, like how sometimes when you're out in the street, some of the like ne'er-do-wells will distract you with like an attractive woman while another man like walks up behind you and picks your pocket clean.
What? Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, I was thinking about an
the
attractive
cape is
woman.
the cape is the attractive woman. It's bad. It's a distraction.
Okay.
The sword
Right,
is the guy
he's
that's
the-
trying to pick your
he's the
pocket.
pick-
So
yeah.
Oh God. And as she's saying this, she's going to cast Intellect Fortress on Guillaume to try to give him a boost. I'll throw what it does in our side chat, so it's in there. So she's going to cast Intellect Fortress on him.
Didn't happen to memorize Sword Fortress for him.
I did not. That is the 6th level version of this 3rd level
there
spell.
You go. More's the pity. Okay. So, this pep talk is going on, the second is still standing in the room, kind of waiting. His eyes have kind of naturally fallen to Locks to see if Locks will be indeed serving as a second.
And Locks will kind of give Guillaume a final sort of like pat on the shoulder, squeeze his shoulder a little bit, give him a nod, and then he'll walk out to take his position.
As you approach, I imagine maybe even the swords are in like a wooden box together that you would have brought with you. You open them to present them. This valet or whatever, his second, takes both of the swords and tests them, looks them both over, and then he will select one and hold it up to make sure that it's okay that he offers this to his first.
Locks nods to him and would similarly take the other blade and give it to Guillaume.
You each deliver your
Guillaume
sword. Go ahead.
Oh, just he'll hold it and kind of inspect it very like carefully, and kind of hold it at the ready.
After you both have delivered, after the seconds have both delivered their blades to the individual combatants in this fight, they meet back in the middle of the room once again, and the second offers to Locks. Does your man wish to proceed, or would he prefer to gracefully decline?
Locks kind of looks back to Guillaume.
Yeah, Guillaume will stand kind of straight, and like at this point he's locked in, and he's decided like he's not apologizing to this man. He knows that what he said was untrue, but also it might as well have been true. So he'll just nod back.
Locks wordlessly returns the nod, and I feel like Guillaume knows Locks well enough, especially at this point, to see the nuance and the hidden meaning in his expression here. And I would imagine that it's like 50% like respect and 50% like, I hope you don't get stabbed in the stomach today, my friend. And he will turn to the other second and say, we wish to proceed.
The individual's valet, the second for him, realizes that this was a little more than a formality, but offers it in, because that's what's done. So he's not surprised to hear that you were going through with it. And instead he nods, he turns, and will relay the fact that the duel will commence to his liege. The man places his own rapier back into its scabbard and places it on the table, and then turns and will take just the sword that has been presented to him. Kind of tests its weight, gives a couple of swings with it to make sure that he has the right weight. And then he matches Guillaume's posture of holding the basket kind of beneath his chin with the blade pointed straight up. So, Guillaume, as a duel begins, each combatant describes which skill they will use to determine the initiative order. You could use deception, insight, intimidation, performance, or sleight of hand for examples, as long as it makes sense. Once we have that established, The duel will then proceed in rounds similar to combat, but it's going to be more nebulous in how much time passes. These dueling rules, by the way, are adapted from the lightsaber rules from the Hyperspace D6 system designed by Matt. So thank you very much for that, Matt. So, Guillaume, how would you like to try to determine initiative order? What skill are you going to use?
Guillaume is a consummate performer. He is he's always been an actor in a way, and his move is generally like in the one duel he's been in, and in any like real life scrapes he's gotten into, his move is generally sort of a a posturing, like as if to kind of like he knows, he doesn't necessarily like know sword fighting, but he does know stage fighting, and he knows how to make himself look imposing. And I want to go with performance to try to like put himself in a position where he's like, he looks like he's about to kick some ass and try to throw his mental game off.
All right, so go ahead and roll your performance check, if you would please.
By the way, I'm just realizing, like, I kind of just realized this, but I thought about it earlier. When I asked for swords, could I have asked for daggers? You said like daggers were an option, right? So I didn't specify rapiers. I did just say blades, and I didn't get specific enough.
So they are daggers then.
Yes, if that's okay. Sorry to retcon like that.
Nope. Everything we just said,
I'm
only
proficient
shorter.
in daggers, but not rapiers.
Fair enough.
Okay. That's going to be a 16 for my initiative.
Okay. So, he rolled deception, as he is going to lead his first attack by trying to unfurl his cape in a big swooping motion right in front of your face, only to follow up with the blade jabbing towards you. He only got a 15, however, so you won the initiative. You will be able to act first. So on your turn...
I remembered the word don't. I remembered the word don't in front of parry the cape.
There you go.
Really thought I wouldn't, but that intellect fortress really helped.
Anyone who is watching will notice that a D4 has appeared in both of the corners of our video feeds. That is going to adjust as we duel this out here. On your turn, you're going to declare your action and make an opposed check to determine whether you succeed or not. It could be as simple as pressing the offensive with your weapon and making an attack roll versus a defense roll. Or it could be cutting the rope of a chandelier as athletics versus their perception. Or it could be something more nuanced, like goading your opponent into a rage by persuasion versus their insight. Or leaping atop a banister to gain a more advantageous position, acrobatics versus acrobatics. If a combatant chooses to use the same skill for their action 2 turns in a row, their opponent's opposing roll will be made with advantage. Okay?
Oh boy.
Each of you will start with a D4. When you succeed on an opposed check, the value of your die will step up by 1 type. If the opposed check ends in a tie, both combatants will increase the value of their dual die. When you roll a 20, if you roll a 20 on one of your skill checks, in addition to increasing the value of your dual die, you can choose to alter the landscape of the duel by introducing environmental hazards or shifting the location. In doing so, you put your opponent at a disadvantage and can decrease the value of your opponent's dual die by 1 step. Likewise, when you roll a 1 on your skill check, if you roll a 1, in addition to decreasing the value of your own dual die, your opponent can introduce a new complication and increase the value of their dual die. On your turn, If you feel like you can conceivably beat your opponent, you can choose to end the duel, and both of you will roll your duel die. And whatever it comes up as is final. The higher die will win. If there's a tie, the combatant who did not choose to end the duel wins. You cannot use inspiration or any other alterations on this roll. The winner of the roll...
because I don't have any inspiration.
The winner of the roll decides the outcome of the duel, to either honor the terms or whatever else they wish to do. So, did all of that make enough sense for you to begin?
I think so.
Perfect. It is your turn first. Please describe what you're going to do to officially kick this off.
Okay. He is clearly very well trained, and he's going to be using this cape to confound me. Now, I know I'm not supposed to parry the cape, but no one said anything about destroying the cape. So what I want to do is try to slash at the cape as close to like his arm as I can. My goal is to just start like tattering this cape so that it's less useful as a like tossing tool. Like eventually, like maybe try to hack through enough of it to make it hard to like use.
Okay, absolutely. This sounds like some kind of intelligence roll. You know, thinking through this in a tactical way.
I like intelligence
So,
rolls.
Let's see. Is there a skill that you have that you think might feed into that, or do you think just naked intelligence? It's the name of my fourth studio album.
They're pretty similar. Like I don't have a lot of proficiency in intelligence skills, surprisingly.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. So you can just do a straight up intelligence roll. And let's see what this would be. Adverse from him. Probably an insight roll to see what it is that you're attempting, I think. What you got?
12.
12.
No, sorry, 11. 11.
11.
Even worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he won. Which means that he goes from a D4 to a D6. So you take several quick slashes at this cape. And every time you slash downwards, he seems to understand almost intuitively kind of what you're doing. And he is moving this cape with your blade. So you're definitely catching it and making small little cuts and things in it, but they're not the long rips that you were hoping to cause this thing to be torn to shreds. He seems to be anticipating much of what you're doing with your blade. He then, as you are lunging and trying to lash, he realizes that you've come in really close. And he is actually going to attempt to shove his body into your center mass, since you're off balance, and knock you to the ground. So he is going to be using athletics.
I would like to try to... Oh boy, I'm not good at any of these things, but I will try to roll with it and like take the shove and like roll backwards and try to spring up, hopefully acrobatics.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Oh, that's better. That's an 18.
Okay. He only got a 13. So that means that yours goes from a D4 to a D6. Now, and it is your turn.
Um. Okay. I think I'm gonna use what I got, and Guillaume is a talker and a shit talker, and he'll my goal right now is to just kind of distract him enough from the fight that he like it throws him off a little bit. And Guillaume will say, it's probably best that your wife was eaten by that shadow, otherwise you would have consumed her. Uh, and as he kind of like moves around to try to like take up a slightly more defensive position to prepare for his next attack.
Okay. And what are you using a skill for this?
I'm hoping for either persuasion or performance.
Okay.
Probably persuasion.
Yeah, let's go with persuasion. That's fine. A little bit different
that's a
of
19.
a persuasion, but it's.
I'm trying to persuade him that he's a bad husband, and
Right.
I'm not deceiving him. It's true. He's a bad husband.
Fair enough. Okay. I think I'm gonna roll that against his wisdom. I think it's basically a wisdom saving throw, more or less. What'd you get total?
19.
Okay. You only got a 13. That brings you from a D6 up to a D8. You can see the redness kind of creep up above his collar and kind of across parts of his face. You can see the veins of concentration kind of popping in his forehead a little, but now you can actually see them throbbing, as it's very clear that your words are cutting perhaps even deeper than your blade thus far. He grits his teeth and he says, "You talk way too much. I will shut your mouth once and for all."
Many have tried.
You can absolutely say things, can you? Yeah, y'all are free to speak. Just not intervene in other ways. Okay. Let's see, what is he going to attempt? Okay. You have kind of backed him up a little. He is going to spin in a display of nimbleness to try to catch you off guard as far as the angle that he's going to then lunge at you with this dagger. So he is going to be using acrobatics.
You say he's kind of like fainting a bit.
Yeah, he's like spinning to kind of throw you off
Yeah.
of what angle he's going to attack from.
All right, can I try insight to try to figure out where he's actually coming from?
Absolutely.
13.
You got a 14. So he also goes from a D6 to a D8. Neck and neck. Was there something that you wanted to toss in, Kenya?
It's going to kind of, as this is going on, she's going to, when she sees Guillaume do a good job, Vera's going to reach out in this new disguise that she has, and she's going to say, "Hubert, you have my heart. I accept your proposal," and throw him a bardic inspiration.
Okay. Karen, it sounds like you had something as well.
Yeah, but mine's a little bit more of a dirty trick, so we'll save it for when like
Okay.
he's losing.
All right. I think it's a D8, Austin. If I remember right. Okay. Was there anything that Lox wanted to do from the sidelines?
I think Lox will kind of be just watching and sort of speaking under his breath, like not even audibly where Guillaume can hear it, but just like, okay, he's fainting, right? He favors that side. Go to the circle around, small step. You're correcting too much. Small steps, small steps. Just like Guillaume is like a child pageant star up on the stage, and I'm just out there like walking him through the choreography of this dance number that we've practiced.
Fantastic. Okay. So that was his spin to attack you from an unexpected angle, Guillaume. So Guillaume, that now brings it to your go. Your turn.
Okay. I want to try to so do kind of a move where like I'll look like I'm like coming in to attack from one side, but then toss the dagger to my other hand and stab from that side with a sleight of hand.
Nice. Okay. That's a great example of how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to roll perception for him to see if he can notice that fast enough to react.
It's a 13 for me.
Ooh. He got a dirty 20. Okay.
Boo.
So that means he goes from a D8 to a D10. Okay. Okay. You switch hands quickly and lunge for him. And at first, it looks like he doesn't quite catch it, but then he almost like bends his back in a way that is probably going to hurt tomorrow, especially at his age. But he manages to contort his way around your lunge all the same, just barely having it miss him. But as he does so, he is going to attempt to basically twirl this cape again, and this time trying to actually get it to twirl over your head and shoulders with another deception. How would you like to counter that?
What is the penalty for using the same skill twice in a row?
It gives them advantage on the roll.
Ew, that's not worth it. Okay. Then is it possible to use like investigation to kind of figure out where he's attacking from? Like watching his body language to like figure out like, what he's
maybe
trying to
like
do.
studying the patterns of his attack. I could give you for that, absolutely. And just to clarify, you can use the same skill. You just can't use the same one you used last round.
Yeah. I was just trying to.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that
I don't know.
there wasn't a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I used insight last round, I think.
Okay.
To at least, is it the last round that you used on your turn or on their turn, or either?
That's a good question.
Because I think I used insight to oppose his last attack, but I used
sleight of hand on your turn. Let's do both of them from the last round.
Or sleight of hand. Okay.
Yeah, you did sleight of hand.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, so I'm not using sleight of hand or insight.
Okay.
I'll try to use investigation.
Sure.
I rolled overall a 17.
Okay. You only got a 12. So you will go from a D8 to a D10 as well. Still neck and neck. Okay. And it is your turn.
Okay. Having had him try to like sweep me with this cape, I kind of want to Incredibles him and make the cape a disadvantage. I would like, oh boy, I don't know what skill to use for this. I feel like it's going to be a bad one for me, and I just have to hope I roll well. I would like to kind of like, as he's like whipping the cape over, try to like grab it in my free hand, since I've thrown the dagger to the other hand, and just yank him down. Like just try to like knock him to the floor by grabbing the cape that he is swirling over me.
Okay.
Um,
So that sounds kind of like maybe a shove attack.
yeah, unfortunately. Oh,
You're trying
athletics
to
are
cause
so
someone to
bad
go
for me
prone.
right now. Athletics is always bad for me, but it's really bad for me now. Yeah, I think that's what I want to try to do. So I guess I'm just gonna not metagame and just do that.
Okay. I love
Please
you,
roll
Austin.
well. Oh my God! Yes, that's a nat
You rolled
20. I was
Okay.
like praying for. And by the way, I just want you to know, this is the die I'm rolling with for this duel.
Oh
Beautiful.
my god, that's amazing. I can't believe you were rolling that die when they're like just famously terrible dice.
Oh, I didn't know that. So to be fair, I have another one that has a skull in it, and this one fucks me constantly.
Oh,
like I roll this one when I'm
alright.
DMing and I want to be nice. So
Yeah. One of the good Atcon D20s then.
I mean, this thing rolls that at for me every once in a while. So
Okay. So, when a combatant rolls a 20 on their skill check, in addition to increasing the value of their dual die, so you will go up from a d10 to a d12. In addition, you can choose to alter the landscape of the duel, introducing an environmental hazard or shifting the location. In doing so, you put your opponent at a disadvantage and can decrease the value of your opponent's dual die.
is that an either or? Like you could either put your opponent at a disadvantage or decrease, or is it like
No,
you can
that's
choose
that's
to
how that's manifested, essentially. If you want
Okay,
to
okay.
change the location or introduce
Perfect.
some kind of effect, it will have that effect.
Okay, perfect. Then what I would like to do is I'm assuming this room has been fairly cleared, but at the same time, like they've mostly, I'm guessing, moved like stuff to the sides. Uh I'm hoping that there's like
Absolutely.
a table with a bunch of like vases and like all the like
Yes.
glass pieces that have been like moved to the side. I'm gonna smash that over and put glass shards all over the combat ground. My hope is that he'll start like getting tripped up on them or bleeding on them, depending on how thick his shoes are, I guess.
Okay.
But either way, I know it's not going to hurt me, so I'll be fine.
So that will take him from a d10 down to a d8. There is now a considerable gulf between the two of you. However, it is his turn. He is going to... Okay. The fire is definitely kind of like raging at this point. He expected this to be over with by now. He does not understand why it hasn't come to an end. He is going to charge forward. No, he's not going to charge forward. He raises his offhand, and an eldritch bolt shoots from his hand towards you. So, what I need you to do for this opposed check is whatever your armor class normally is, subtract 10 from it. You're going to roll a d20 and add that to the result of the d20. Whatever your armor class normally is, subtract
Okay.
10 from it and
I was
replace
like-
it with a d20 roll.
It was like beautiful minding through it. They're like, not seeing the equations. Okay. So my armor is 15, so I will add 5. That's a 21.
Right. Okay.
I rolled a 16. My Atcon die fucking rules.
He only got a 16. So He raises his hand, and you instantly recognize that he is doing some kind of arcane gesture with the positioning of his fingers. And you tell me how you managed to get out of the way of this Eldritch Blast.
If you'll allow it, I want to say that like Guillaume sees this. Actually, never mind. Okay. He sees this magic forming in this guy's hand, and like immediately like 10 thoughts race through his head of like, okay, so that's the kind of magic this guy does. This guy is a cheater. Now I'm off the fucking leash and I can do whatever I want to him because the rules of the duel have been broken. And so what I want to do is like, as he's like, like sweeping this like hand at me, I want to try to like position myself like right in. This might be way too much. I want to try to position myself in front of his second and dodge out of the second, like out of the way at the last second. Like I just want to try to aim his Eldritch Blast at his own guy.
Okay. You bait him into positioning this and quickly duck out of the way at the last second. It strikes his second directly in the shoulder. He falls to the ground, completely taken out by the damage that this would do. And he, Mercutio, rounds and glares at you. However, it is your turn. Before it is your turn, because of your success that round, you have gone up from a D12 to a D20.
Well then, I think it's time to end this duel. And since the terms of the duel have already been violated, I would like to do an Arcana check to fire. Is everyone within? Is everyone at least like 20 feet away?
So, just to clarify, if you are choosing to end the duel, you don't have to necessarily pick a thing to roll. It's just going to be your D20 roll versus his
I'm just
D8
trying to figure out
roll.
how to flavor it. I kind of want to flavor it as fireballing him in the face if I can.
Absolutely. Yeah, once you
I've
if you defeat him, you can choose how you want to completely finish things if you'd like.
Okay, perfect. Then let's do that. I'm going to end the duel.
Okay. So you're going to get your D20 and you're going to roll it. I have rolled my D8.
Okay, I just at least have to
There
get
is
more than
no adjusting this number, by the way. No re-rolls, no.
Well, that's a 19.
Okay. I rolled a 4.
This is the best I've ever rolled in any game.
So
I got
Guillaume,
double nat ones when I was getting attacked by a were-rat.
You
But look what it did.
have won the duel against Mercutio de la Apozuelo. The terms of this duel were to the death. However, because you won, you personally get to decide how this duel will end.
Mercutio, I have never murdered a man in cold blood. I've never killed an unarmed man. I've barely killed anyone. But I think I want to satisfy you, and you said death was the only satisfaction. So I think it would only be the honorable thing. And I'll just like stand far enough away that I can fireball this motherfucker in the face and not hurt my companions or myself.
You fireball Mercutio, and he's in no real condition to fight against it until the flames cause the excruciating pain to begin running through his body, where he catches his second wind and climbs to his feet, trying desperately to escape this horror, but there is no chance to escape it. And before he can even make it to the opening, the door to get out of this house, he collapses onto the tiled floor and burns merrily.
Right as he like stands up, Guillaume, just to kind of twist the knife, will say, "Oh, by the way, your wife is alive, and the baby will thrive."
Surprisingly, he does not respond. Okay.
I
The second.
think
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as soon as that's happened and Guillaume has, kind of whispered that to him, Chimeran can't hold himself in any longer. He just runs to the middle of the floor, puts his arms around Guillaume in this huge hug, lifts him up and swings him around, going, "That was fabulous!"
Yeah, Guillaume is like swinging around, like unable to put up any amount of resistance. He's both exhausted and incredibly frail right now, and all he can say is, "Holy shit, I won!"
I think with no hesitation, because this just means celebration. Once he puts you back down, he'll just like grabs your face and gives you the biggest kiss right now. So happy.
Yeah, Guillaume puts up zero resistance. Like, I won twice.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest duel I've ever witnessed, but honestly wasn't the dirtiest either.
I wasn't even the
did good,
first one
Guillaume.
to cheat.
No.
I really thought I would be. I thought the second things were going to start going wrong. I was just going to I don't know, blink out of existence or something.
Guillaume, you didn't just win. You kept him on his toes the entire time. You won handily. You did good.
Oof. Hell yeah. He's just
Now
like,
we're gonna be
he's just
wed.
shaking.
Vera walks up. And now we're going to be wed, Hubert.
Oh, Cressina? Crenifer.
No.
Sorry, it's been a while since I was working on the play and I was tossing around a few different names.
Calisandra.
I'm going to go with Crenifer.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. The master of the estate and his second are both dead. The guards and the staff that works the house are a little confused, lost, and aimless. The mistress of the house is also missing. So they're a little uncertain of exactly how to proceed.
As shaken as he is, Guillaume will actually kind of take charge in that moment. Like, he's feeling extremely confident. Maybe the most confident he's ever felt, which is probably a dangerous place for a guy like Guillaume to be in. But he will confidently walk up to the guards and say, "The master of the house is dead. The mistress of the house will be returning. She is well, but until then, continue about your duties. You'll be paid eventually."
They kind of exchange looks with each other, but they'll agree to keep order until she returns. Okay. And with that, the five of you are able to leave the Via della Apozuelo, at least for the time being.
I have a quick thing.
Yes.
Vera will lean into Guillaume and if he was casting magic of that type, should should we like investigate his study or his private chambers or something before we leave and see maybe he's part of this whole mess with his wife and the babies and the women and
Yes, absolutely. I
you
don't know
want to
what.
duel against him. Like, doesn't that grant you some sort of authority here now?
I mean, these
I mean, you can
guards
make it
just
up,
like
right?
these guards just listen to me, like my opinion
Okay,
matters.
well then,
So
yes,
like I
let's
think
do
we
this.
might
Okay,
be able
yeah.
to just like go in and do it. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
If he has a spell book, I'd like to find it. Although I will say the kind of magic he was throwing, it's not really the kind of magic you learn. That's more like gifted magic. It's very complicated.
There's some crossover though, because I know similar things to what Sylvie can do, and we do ours completely different.
That's true.
I
That's
sing
None
true.
of my
rhyme
shit came
and-
out of a book.
Yeah. The source of his energy came from somewhere else, but the
Well, I think
actual
we need to
mechanics of a
check the
spell.
study, and he
Yeah.
also might have some really valuable and small items
that could easily be
come
misplaced.
with us.
I agree.
You turn around and Chimeran's already gone.
Just fill in pockets.
I'm gonna also head up to her room and see if there's anything not destroyed, and get her some clothes and stuff, familiar things.
Well, just so you know, we really went ham in there, like
I'm hoping
fireball
that-
ham. I don't know if I
I'm-
told you, but like I did a fire.
You did, yeah, and but I'm hoping maybe a wardrobe protected some things. Anything
Fair
open in
enough.
the room is a lost cause.
I'll start in the study.
I'll go with you, Guillaume.
Chimeran is already there because as soon as they start talking magic, he's out of the room.
Okay. Vera, it sounds like you are genuinely looking just for clothing and things like that to bring for her personal effects? Or are you also looking for...
Also snooping. I mean, you know,
Okay.
like you do.
Sure.
And
What are you looking for?
in particular, I guess
Like just general
anything
dirt
related
or...
yeah, just like anything related to her pregnancy, like to the man that got her pregnant. You know, I don't know if she's got a journal somewhere, maybe a journal or something kind of documenting weird things that were happening to her throughout the course of the pregnancy, any information on that, you know, that kind of stuff.
All right. So roll me an investigation.
Okay.
The other three of you, you'll need the same investigation roll. While y'all are working on
The
that,
duel used up all my good rolls.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna use an inspiration to re-roll that because that
Okay.
was a 4.
Hmm.
That's better. That's a 15.
Okay. So you do find a diary. And flipping through it, you can see that there is a lot of mention leading up to Amigazada of how wonderful things are. The world is bright. She talks about, you know, how much beauty that she sees on her daily walks. She never says anything explicit about meeting someone else or anything like that, but it's pretty easy to tell that something has put her in a good mood. During the month of Amigazada, the tone significantly changes. There's a lot of writing about being concerned for the future, things of that nature. Eventually, there is mention of the fact that she is pregnant, and never again mentioning anything about a father. Her concerns grow, but you can also get a little bit of a sense of some excitement. There's a few instances of mentioning being worried about a friend, that she hasn't responded, etc., etc. You get the sensation reading through this diary that this is probably not an entirely private document, that she expected for someone to be looking at this at some point. It's not outright cagey, but there's definitely some carefully chosen phrasing throughout it. Eventually, the thoughts turn a lot darker, and you can tell that even though she's not outright saying anything, that she's miserable and she's desperate, and that she seems to be missing this female friend that she has mentioned in this book several times at this point. But the diary is not the only thing that you find. That was fairly easy to find. It was just, in a bedside table or what have you. However, you managed to find underneath the bed, stuffed underneath the slats and where the mattress sits on top of it, you find a stack of letters. And they are love letters. Every single one of them is signed Magrino Palico. And it's very clear that the two of them had a fling that had gone on for many months. And apparently, context clues and otherwise, you gather that they consummated and did so during Amigazada. And then sometime after Amigazada, this Magrino Palico writes about being discovered. That apparently Mercutio had found out that this had happened, and that he challenged him to a duel. And that's the last letter that you find from Magrino Palico. Those of you in the study, Guillaume, you do not find much. The whole world is just buzzing and glowing with the, affirmation that you're alive. And not only are you alive, that you just won a duel. So you're kind of blindsided to much else at the moment. Lox, you are trying to search this study, but Guillaume is like a small dog, like at your elbow, just constantly reliving the moment that just happened, play by play, kind of thing. And it's distracting enough that you're just not quite able to really find much other than kind of the obvious, like a small rat. Yeah.
So then he swung his cape up over me, and what I was trying to do in that moment was I was trying to grab it and pull it down, but then he was able to kind of counteract that, and then
yeah. No, that was great. That was a good move, Guillaume. That was a good.
Meanwhile, Chimeran, you've managed to tune most of this out. Maybe because it's not the first time you've done so with Guillaume. And put a little bit of distance between, where you're searching and where they're searching. And you end up discovering like I almost try to call it a deadfall, like an empty space behind a painting on the wall. It's not a safe because it doesn't have like a a lock and all that kind of stuff on it, but it's it's just a box that's been affixed into the wall, and it contains several sacks of coin, maybe some paperwork that seems like it could be important. But you find a book. This book is leather bound, but the leather that it's bound in is kind of strange. It's at one time kind of black, but under certain angles of light, it's also kind of a deep red, and it's scaly. Not completely scaly, but like it has scales on it. And emblazoned, kind of branded, into the front of this book is a symbol. Very boldly. And it is locked.
Locked with like a normal looking lock? Or locked as in I try to open it, but there's no way because I physically can't.
No, like
because it's magic.
Like some books have, where it actually has like a clasp that comes over and it locks.
Yes. I would like to try. Well, no, I'll just take it right now. We'll just take this book right now, and we'll try open it later.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take the book. I would also like to pocket coins. I don't want to take a lot because I don't want to steal from Escanada, but I do want to take the money that her husband was trying to, that basically took from Sylvie.
Okay.
I don't want Sylvie to be out any of this money because of this dude. So I'm going to take enough for the reparations for Sylvie.
Okay.
If Guillaume
notices
go ahead. That Chimeran is taking stuff out of an empty slot behind a painting and leaves gold, Guillaume is kind of desperate right now. Having like potentially been like, he doesn't know if his father's going to keep funding his lifestyle, and he is absolutely going to like pilfer whatever is left of that gold.
Fair enough. All right. I will roll that up and get that to you.
Chimeran was also very interested in finding like the book is great. It looks kind of magical and stuff, so Chimeran's not as interested, but he's taking it because right on. But he's looking for like ledgers or journals or something that might connect this man with the Doge of Monchalona, in case that this guy, I mean, because we already know that the Monchalona, Doge of Monchalona is taking these women. They're going to his place, and Chimeran fears for this, what this all means. This man's wife was one of these women, and there's just something in there like, was this planned between the two of them? Did they know each other from before? And because he found out his wife was pregnant, like, is he part of this? Is really what she's trying to figure out. Was this horrible man part of this plot against these women?
Okay. His ledgers are not difficult to find. They're probably even still sitting on his desk, at least the most recent books. And they seem to be fairly meticulously kept. And as far as you can tell, everything seems to be in order, at least at first glance. You see the Doge's name mentioned, but the accounts are they're considerable, but they're not what you think might denote human trafficking. They're not quite like that big of an exchange, and they're not very frequent. Like, you might find, his name mentioned once in the last 6 months, and then beyond that, it would be probably a year or more in between. So it's not a constant back and forth.
But they did know each other at least.
Certainly.
I guess the only other thing that Chimeran would be interested in is trying to find like the master suite, this man's room, to see if there's a personal journal, if he kept something close. So that would be the only other place that Chimeran would be checking in this house.
Yeah, that was Vera's second stop also, after gathering things from Escanada's room.
The two of you can, maybe even you meet, heading that direction or heading into the suite. It's, again, not difficult to find. It's set out, on the table next to his bed. Reading through it, it's almost as boring and dry as reading through the ledger. There's not a lot of introspection. There's not a lot of compassion. It's a very pragmatic, again, just like the man, very cold account of daily life.
Was there any cold account of him trying to get rid of his wife?
No. He writes about the betrayal, having discovered what happened. He writes about killing Magrino Pelico in the duel, and avenging his name. That's probably the most emotion that you read out of anything. He seems pleased with himself. And he basically says in no uncertain terms that once the baby is born, that he will be getting rid of it.
Okay. And from reading what we read and the way he's saying, it's very apparent then that he is not part of the plot to kidnap the women, because he would have bragged about that, or at least in the journal.
It's possible.
But,
It's very unlikely unless he's just hidden it really well.
Right. Yeah, he's not that good.
So, I think Guillaume would want to go along with them, and I just want to say, just in classic petty bitch fashion, Guillaume will add to his diary as the final line. Today I challenged a greater man to a test of strength and was bested, and now lie dead in my own home because I'm a dick and a little bitch.
I thought you were going to piss on his bed, so I mean that's a better alternative, I think.
Oh God. Yeah, I think once kind of reading through that, Chimeran would turn to Vera. As much as I really wished he was a bigger asshole than he was, I don't think he has anything to do with what's happening with the women.
Well, that's good, I guess. It's unfortunate. We might have found some clues, but it's something. And Vera's like, as she's standing there talking to you about this, she's going through his closet and pulling out like some of his jackets and clothes and stuff, and she's kind of making a pile next to her. Nothing major, she's just picking out a couple of things that she kind of likes and tossing them into a pile.
Oh, I think you probably toss one, and Chimeran goes, "Oh, that would look really good on me."
It's mine.
I'll borrow it.
Like slap his hand a little bit, kind of playfully.
Okay. So after you rob this dead man's house, what are you heroes up to next?
When you put it that way.
When you say it like that.
Well, let's burn his horse house to the ground and slaughter his family god. Oh wait, no.
No.
Vera's gonna kind of look at the group. She's gonna. Do we want to take the slow way back over the boats, or do you want me to just take us right to the city, like I did last night?
So you can
Wait,
just
you can do that again?
I can do that again.
Does it hurt?
No. I mean, it's if you've never done it before, you might get sick feeling, but
We don't have to go through the astral plane, do we?
no, it's just a teleportation. This is keyed to the cathedral of Orion in the middle of the city. So I can get us that far, and then we can take a gondola to the Condessa and tell her what happened, and we can talk to Escanada and let her know that she is now a widow. I think she'll be happy.
Part of me does want to stop back at the inn we were at last night and let that innkeeper know that we kind of took care of the biggest problem in town. But I think probably expediency beats out bragging.
She's gonna kind of wait till everybody's in a group together, and she'll pull out the Orion's diamond thing, and she'll kind of sit there and she'll just mutter to herself. It almost has like a sing-songy. It sounds odd, and yeah, she will cast recall again and drop us all off in the cathedral.
As you start your chant to make this happen, Guillaume will just turn really quickly to the nearest guard and say, "Oh, have our horses sent to the Delastote estate. Thank you." As we just fade out of existence.
All right. You all vamp out of space here at the Via della Appozuelo. You reappear. We see you coming out of the Church of Orion and making your way via gondola towards the Condessa's estate. And as we watch you traveling on the canals, kind of off towards the Condessa's estate, we see the blue, crystalline, multifaceted, multi-legged, spider-like appendages crawl up and over the top of a roof, looking after your gondola. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. So, that was amazing. What? Sorry? No? Okay. Wow. I did not expect us to get into a duel. It kind of came up and made sense, and that was spectacular. I'm really glad that we got to use those rules again.
Not just that there was a duel, but that Guillaume was the one fighting
yeah.
the duel.
Yeah.
And he won!
And he
somehow.
won! Absolutely stupendous. It was marvelous. Wow. Completely unexpected turns. Again, I don't know why I'm still surprised, but well, here we are. Yeah, I'm going to pass things back over to my players so that they can give any parting words. Once again, touch on anything that they might have going on, where you can find them before we call it a night. So we'll start in reverse order with Karen.
I don't want to know what that thing is, and I don't want it to catch up to us. And I had a lot of fun. And Guillaume, you're my hero.
All right. Speaking of heroes, Guillaume, you're next.
It was a pleasure to play Guillaume, Champion of Champions, tonight. That was such a blast. I did not expect. First of all, I didn't expect it to happen. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, and I did not expect to win, and so handily. That was beautiful. That was amazing. Guillaume is going to have such an inflated sense of self now for a while, y'all in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, we
thank you,
thought he
Jeremy.
was
This
impossible before. He's going to be
He just
next
took down
level
someone
now.
who he was told, like, oh yeah, no one's ever won a duel against that guy. I'm like, well, I did, bitch.
It's going to be insufferable.
The funniest part to me is that I did it in disguise and while wanted. So like I can't really brag about it. Like I can't be like, well, you know, I was wandering around as Hubert Rolando during that time. And so anyway, super great. I cannot wait for next session to find out what that monstrosity following us is. And I am so excited that we were able to get that poor pregnant woman away from her shitty husband and into the relative safety of the Contessa's house. So with that, I will say thank you all. That was super fun. And I will pass it on to Matt.
Yeah, fantastic session. The dual rules are really fun. And I just did not anticipate Guillaume getting into a duel and winning quite handily. That was so fun. Yeah, fantastic session as always, Jeremy. And yeah, I realized I forgot to mention at the beginning for a thing I want to plug. We just have a couple days left in the Aether Nexus Kickstarter. It's going really well, and I'm very excited about it. So if you like mechs and fantasy stuff and putting them together, you should check out Aether Nexus on Kickstarter. And yeah, I played Lox. This was a blast. Thank you as always, Jeremy, and I'm going to toss it over to Kenya.
Okay, wow. Giant crystal spider was not on my bingo card for the evening, so that's fun and terrifying. You can find me on my Twitch channel on Sundays. It's the only place that and here is the only place I am online streaming now. I was actually going to say I finally remembered to kickstart the Aether Nexus. So I was going to throw that plug in that I did that tonight while we were in game, because sitting in front of Matt made me remember that I had been thinking about going to doing that and never at my computer to do it when I was thinking of it. Other than that, fantastic game as usual. Vera's patience has always tried a little bit with Guillaume. Now it's just gonna. Guillaume may have won that duel, but he may end up dead at some point. But no, in all seriousness, it was awesome. I'm so glad Austin did that and then it worked out. That was entirely epic. And I just have to wonder how incredibly just painful it is going to be for Guillaume to have done something so amazing and just never, ever will he see the recognition for it. It is just gonna, that is just gonna, the poor man is just gonna be eaten alive by the constant gnawing knowledge that he is so outstanding and no one will ever know. Back to you, Jeremy.
I am sure that Vera will make certain to constantly remind him of that fact, because what are friends for? Yeah, just absolutely blown away by the outcome of this session and how, again, every single time, all of you managed to keep me on my toes and shock me. Yes, my dog is very pleased to see me. So, yes, I know. All right, so I think we're gonna go ahead and call it an evening here. This has been just another great entry into this game's tale. So thank all of you very, very much for being just incredible players, and always being willing to just take things to the next level with this game, and what you decide to do. Yeah, I love it too much. All right, any other business? Yes, remember that kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be nice to people. And the world is kind of a shitstorm lately, if you haven't noticed. So everybody needs a little bit more kindness. And if it doesn't cost you anything and the world needs it, it's the best that you can do. So get out there, be nice. Unless they're Nazis, then punch them. But other than that, I think we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your week and weekend. If you watched with us this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. It really does mean so much to me that people enjoy watching these games. So do all the stuff that the algorithm likes to see. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the links around, talk about it. And you will see us again sometime soon, next month. But until then, may your dice roll high and your snacks always be within reach.